Hello guys, let us today discuss about Anthoceros, another type genus included in our syllabus. Sir, this is under the class Anthocerotopsida. Sir, whatever the syllabus we have got, the type genus, those are actually distributed under three different classes. One is the member of Hepaticopsida, it was Markensia, under the order Markensialis. Over here, this is the Anthoceros belonging to the class Anthocerotopsida under the order Anthocerotelis, and another class will be Bryopsida. Under that particular class, two different type genus are included in our syllabus. So today Anthoceros, and sir, Anthoceros is the Anthocerotopsida generally is a monotypic class, as because only the major genus included under this particular class is Anthoceros. So many other genus are also there definitely, but Anthoceros is the major genus. Sir, Anthoceros is a bryophyte, means it is also resembling the morphological character like that of the Rixia or Markensia, that is the like of Hepaticopsida. Sir, in many cases, sir, it is also a dorsiventral prostrate thallus. So, sir, dorsiventral Anthoceros SP. So it is also dorsiventral prostrate thallus like this. So dichotomous branching is also available with the Anthoceros. Along with that, sir, green, photosynthetic, love to grow on the wall or crevices. The same thing like that of the other bryophyte members, that is Hepaticopsida members especially. And also their gametophytic plant body having the sporophytes associated with these particular structures from certain zones, and those zones are actually this way. So the sporophytic structures have been found to arise this way. Some of the sporophytic structures have been found to arise this way. So some of the sporophytic structures have been found to arise this way. So the sporophytic structures are associated with the gametophytic structures, while morphological structure is concerned. It is green, photosynthetic, dorsiventral. Sir, dichotomous branching is there, but dichotomous branching is not conspicuous at all. The midrib is not conspicuous, and in several genus it is absent. Sir, the morphology shows the gametophytic plant body along with sporophytes. Sir, sporophytes are like these of horns. Sir, the ventral portion, from the ventral portion, rhizoids arise. Sir, what was common with the Markensia? From the ventral portion, rhizoids along with scales was arising. Over here, scales are absent. Any other hair-like structures are also absent, which was available with certain gametophytic plant body under the Hepaticopsida. But only the rhizoids are present. Sir, as we can remember, the rhizoids in case of Markensia was of two types. One was smooth walled one, another was pegged or tuberculate rhizoids. Over here, the rhizoids are all, sir, what kind of smooth walled rhizoids? Tuberculate rhizoids are also even absent in Anthoceros. So, Anthoceros at its ventral side shows only, sir, smooth walled rhizoids, no tuberculate rhizoid, no scale, no, sir, any moisture containing pocket, no any hair-like structure in association with the ventral side. Sir, while we go for section, sir, internal structure, the internal structure of the Anthoceros is a very much typical enough. So as we have seen in the Markensia, it was elaborate. It was showing the upper epidermis, lower epidermis. Between the upper and lower epidermis, a extensive zonation was there. So, certain storage tissue was there, and certain chlorophyllous structures was there, along with the air chambers. Air pores was there available. Over here, such kind of elaborate internal structure is absent. Sir, the total thallus have been found to bear the upper epidermis, but that upper epidermis is not an epidermal tissue. See, this is the main thing. So, the cells are actually arranged in this fashion, leaving certain this way, sir, this way, the tissue are generally parenchymatous and they are arranged in this fashion, but do not show any organized epidermis. If you can consider this one is upper epidermis and this one is lower epidermis, so you can consider. But these cells are not typical epidermal cell. So from the ventral side, only smooth wall rhizoids have been found to arise this way. So no tuberculate rhizoid, no scale, nothing else. And so the cells actually packed in between the upper and lower epidermis. Rather, we should say the ventral side and dorsal side, the extreme dorsal side and extreme ventral side, the cells are bearing itself a chloroplast. Sir, chloroplasts are very much distinct enough. Chloroplasts are very much distinct enough, and these chloroplasts are found to be associated with the nucleus. Sir, these chloroplasts are found to be associated with the nucleus along with a distinct pyrenoid. Each and every chloroplast is having a pyrenoid. Now, sir, pyrenoid is a very much known structure to us. Sir, what is pyrenoid? Pyrenoids are actually protein globule. Sir, these are the protein globules surrounded by starch. These are the protein globule and surrounded by starch. So, chemically, these are the protein and starch. Sir, in algae, they are found to be associated with the reserve food, as a reserve food material. So, they are considered to be a kind of reserve food material. In algae, they are very much commonly associated with the chloroplast. So, in algae, each and every chloroplast bear pyrenoid, and the presence or absence or the type of pyrenoid can help to to identify the different kind of algae. That is very much common feature with the algae. But in case of bryophyte, this is the Anthoceros only, where cells distinctly show the chloroplast along with pyrenoid. Each and every cell have got a distinct chloroplast. Each and every cell have got a distinct chloroplast along with pyrenoid. Sir, pyrenoids over here are also considered to be a form of reserve food material. Sir, this is the very much unique feature in Anthoceros. Sir, along with such kind of parenchymatous cells, certain spaces are left. Those are actually the sac-like structures are filled with mucilages, and so many other bacteria have been found to be associated with this mucilage cavity. Sir, these are suppose bacteria, so rather not bacteria but these are certain algae. These are certain these are not bacteria, these are certain algae, that is blue green algae. Its nostoc have been found to be associated with this mucilaginous cavity. That these mucilaginous cavity are actually opened towards the ventral portion through a narrow slit. Sir, so such kind of endophytic nostoc colony have been established as they have entered through these slits. Ultimately, they inhabit in the soil, and wherever the Anthoceros grow, gradually they enter through these slits and ultimately remain over there and help to some extent in nitrogen fixation. But itself, Anthoceros do not have any role directly in nitrogen fixation. So Anthoceros is internally, that much of elaboration is absent. No air pore, no air chamber. So all the cells are chlorophylous, or all the cells are bearing chlorophyll, that is chloroplast. So distinctly chloroplast is present, so green photosynthetic. So cells are also bearing small amount of mucus as well. So in between the cells there are small gaps are there. They are filled with mucilage and inhabiting the nostoc colony inside. The upper and lower epidermis is inconspicuous. So the epidermal cells cannot be well differentiated with the other internal tissues. So pyrenoid is also associated with the chloroplast, and this is one of the unique feature common with the algae. Sir, now the reproduction. While reproduction of Anthoceros is concerned, what happened? Sir, as we discussed earlier during Markensia, so gradual growth, so death and growth of the two different sides means the cotomy, the different cotomy, that is called dichotomy. So gradual death and decay of the plant body ultimately help to divide the plant into two plant bodies, so reproduction take place through that kind of gradual growth, death and decay. So so many other what I should say, the propagules are associated with the reproduction in case of Anthoceros. But sir, sexual reproduction is one of the major reproduction in Anthoceros. While sexual reproduction is concerned, the Anthoceros have been found to develop Antheridium and Archegonium, which are embedded directly on the thallus. Sir, in Markensia we found the separate Antheridiophore and Archegoniophore. Sir, Antheridiophore was bearing Antheridium at the disc. The Archegonium was also found to be hanging downwardly from the ventral portion of the disc of the Archegoniophore. While Anthoceros do not develop such kind of any structure. Sir, Anthoceros may be monoecious, may be dioecious. See, may be monoecious, may be dioecious or heterothallic, may be homothallic. Means that same thallus is bearing male and female reproductive structure. But generally, the male and female reproductive structure at the same time do not take part into gametic union. Why? As because they show protandry. What is protandry? So protandry means while the male sex organ develop earlier than the female sex organ. Generally, those are monoecious plant body. In case of Anthoceros, they have been found to show protandry, means in those cases, the male sex organ develop earlier than the female sex organ. That's why, sir, there is a very less chance that the antherozoid of the thallus ultimately finds any chance to fertilize the egg of the same thallus within the Archegonium. So, this way, Anthoceros actually can avoid such kind of gametic union of the same plant body. So, how the Antheridium look like? Actually, what happens? See, while the internal structure is concerned, such kind of internal structure is there. Only in this case, we will not deal with these cavities. Sir, let us let us take into consideration. See, so the thallus is there, the upper layer or outer layer, and so many other tissues are there associated, and definitely sir, they are associated in this manner. Definitely these cells are bearing chloroplast, pyrenoid, all these things, and also at certain distance such kind of cavities are also there bearing mucilage and endophytic nostoc colony. But those are not actually over here matter of discussion. That's why we are not going to discuss. Sir, within the thallus, it is embedded antheridial chamber, and within the antheridial chamber, such kind of antheridium with certain stalk have been found to develop. So initially, certain cells over here act as antheridium initial. That antheridium initial is haploid as because the total plant body is haploid. The total plant group bryophyte is also haploid, and those haploid cells divide mitotically to give rise new cells. Ultimately, first of all, 2 to 4 or 8 cells are formed. Amongst them, 2 of the lower cells give rise the stalk, and rest of the cells they divide in several directions. So some of the cells ultimately give rise the jacket of the antheridium, and a central cell remain there, which ultimately starts to divide and redivide to give rise a number of nucleus. Sir, random division take place. So number of nuclei are formed freely, then get associated with the wall formation in such a manner that number of chamber means number of nucleus associated with certain cytoplasm take place. These are the small block of cytoplasm containing nucleus. Later on, these all the blocks get metamorphosed. This is a cell. See, this cell have been metamorphosed means, sir, much needed change is called as metamorphosis. So this cell have been, sir, suppose say one of these cells are this one. This cell have turned to be this shape first of all, and then this kind of certain structures have been developed. These are called flagella. So while we draw this structure elaborately, we draw this way and with flagella. These are called antherozoids. Sir, while archegonium is concerned, sir, archegonium also have been found where archegonium also have been found to occur embedded within the tissue, and that archegonium is designed. Sir, this is the normal tissue. Sir, as there is no differentiation, so we cannot differentiate the internal structure of the Anthoceros. Some of the cells have been found to develop this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, sir, this way, this way, then sir, these cells are arranged in such a manner that a slit is formed along with the swollen base. So it has been found, sir, this is also a cell, and it has been found that this cell is bearing a nucleus and certain amount of cytoplasm, and this structure is actually appearing to be archegonial structure. Sir, over here the archegonia is not associated with specialized wall of its own. So as in Martinsia, what was the available structure? The available structure was like this. See, this way, this way, this way, and it has its own wall. So the archegonium had its own wall, but over and on a nucleus and neck canal cell, ventral canal cell, all are present over here, except the fact that the archegonium do not have its own wall. So only the cells are arranged in such a fashion, leaving a space which is acting as archegonium. That space itself bearing an egg nucleus. That cell itself, it's bearing so many other cells which are called to be neck canal cell and definitely a ventral canal cell as well. Sir, and let's be clear, sir, each and every archegonium, in case of Martensia also, these archegonial, see, although this one is suppose let's draw this way. Let's draw this way. So this slit was bearing neck canal cell. So these are neck canal cell and this is ventral canal cell. So this is also neck canal cell and this is a neck. So these are neck cells and these are neck canal cells. The cells present within the canal, and sir, two cover cells this side and two cover cells on the back, means four cover cells altogether are present over here. So here also certain cover cells are there. Sir, actually during the fertilization, what happened? So in presence of moisture, these hygroscopic movement of these anthozoids take place. Certain secretions are available at the opening of the archegonial slit. So ultimately chemotactic movement, not tropic, it is a tactic movement, but under the influence of certain secretion or chemical, so chemotactic movement take place. And when anthozoid approach towards the slit of the archegonium, the neck canal cells starts to dissolve. So while they start to dissolve, the plasmodial mass is formed. Sir, a plasmodial mass ultimately help the anthozoids to enter easily, and sir, ultimately these anthozoids approach towards the egg nucleus and fertilization is completed. So now this structure with certain cytoplasm will be called as zygote. This portion is now will be called as zygote, and the zygote is bearing a diploid nucleus. Sir, this much was the gametophytic generation. As and when the zygote is formed, the sporophytic generation or diploid generation is started. So what happened? Sir, sexual reproduction is very much common with Anthoceros, although certain kind of asexual reproduction or to some extent take place through death and decay on through other propagules. While sexual reproduction is concerned, definitely they bear both the sex organ Antheridium and Archegonium. But for Antheridium and Archegonium, they do not bear any specialized structure like Antheridiophore or Archegoniophore in case of Mertensia. Sir, the Antheridium and Archegonium are found to be associated with the thallus itself. They are embedded within the thallus tissue. Sir, Antheridium develop within the antheridial chamber, and Archegonium are also found to be associated with the gametophytic tissue. Sir, Antheridium have got its own wall, a stalk. Inside they are bearing number of block of cytoplasm with nucleus. those are get metamorphosed into a complete antherozoid with flagella. So these are biflagellate or biciliate flagella. But the archegonium itself do not have its own wall. So inside the thallus, the normal vegetative cells are arranged in such a fashion, leaving a central portion which is considered to be archegonium. So it is having a narrow but long neck along with a swollen base. So that narrow the space or slit that is occupied by certain cells, those are called neck canal cells, as because this is considered to be neck of the archegonium and it has got a canal, and the cells occupying that canal is called neck canal cell. But sir, they do not have any neck cell. Neck cell means neck cell is the wall of the neck. Okay, as the archegonium in Anthoceros do not have its own covering wall, so do not have any neck cell, do not have any venter cell. Only the vegetative cells are arranged in such a fashion, leaving a space, are looking to be archegonium, and that space is also acting as archegonium. So neck canal cells, while fertilization takes place, get dissolved, making the pathway for entry of the antherozoids inside the venter, and venter itself is bearing cytoplasm along with a haploid egg nucleus. As antherozoid moves and approaches towards the egg nucleus, sir, get united with the egg nucleus, so fertilization is successful and the zygote is established. As the zygote is formed, so sporophytic generation starts with Anthoceros. Now, the Anthoceros will show an elaborate sporophytic structure and sporophytic development that we will see later on.